What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got some more NBA news to, of course, be talking about with you guys. This time I wanted to talk about the recent news actually being reported by Jake Fisher of Bleacher Report, so a pretty trusted source out there, going on and actually saying that the Bulls and Celtics are currently discussing a trade, where the trade package is kind of being revealed right now, which actually looks like it's going to be Dennis Schroder for Troy Brown and a second round pick. Now this one is really crazy because the Chicago Bulls, I do agree, need to do quite a bit to improve their depth, but I'm not too sure if bringing in another point guard is the way to improve their depth, because right now, you know, a bunch of different players have had a lot of injuries for them. You know, Patrick Williams is out for the year. Vucevic has missed a ton of games. Zach LaVine, I think, has missed nearly up to like a whole month of injuries now, which is crazy stuff going on right there. Lonzo Ball has had a lot of troubles here and there as well, only playing 35 games. Kobe White. But the thing is, it's mainly the big men. I believe Derrick Jones will actually be out for, I think, the whole season at this point, and he played a lot of forward for them this year. Vucevic has missed a lot of games, and he's pretty much their starting, you know, center at this point. And again, Patrick Williams being out for the whole year. It's a lot of that forward center depth that I think they really need to go out and try and bring in some, I guess, some more depth players with. So, to me, it's a little bit weird that they're looking to actually bring in Dennis Schroder, because, again, I know a lot of their guards have had injuries too. Like, the whole team has just been suffering through injuries, like Bulls fans. I don't know how you guys have kept so quiet about this. Like, I know, you know, a lot of Bulls fans are vocal. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Bulls fans definitely don't seem to be looking like they're using this as an excuse to why some games get lost. They understand that injuries happen. I think that just shows how humble some of their fans are, which is pretty cool. So, again, it's really interesting, but they have a ton of guards in Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball, Kobe White, Alex Caruso, and Ayo Dosunmu, which, again, I'm pretty sure I said his name wrong, but hey, I've done that 100 times now at this point. And even Javonte Green is naturally a guard who has played a lot of small ball this year as well, who has also had his injuries. Oh my god, the whole team just seems to get injured. I don't feel like that they need to be really bringing in another guard. In fact, I just think it's probably the last thing that they need to be focusing on right now. And even though Dennis Schroder is a really good player, and that seems to be a pretty good deal for them, I just don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. And not just over the Boston Celtics, I know that Dennis Schroder's value is really low right now, but I don't feel like a second round pick and Troy Brown Jr. is really enough to make this deal happen. I just think that if you're the Boston Celtics, you would at least be looking for a little bit more down the line. Again, I think Alfonso McKinney, who I believe is still on the Bulls, I hope he is, because I'm actually about to say that I think that was a good pickup, so I'm really hoping he's still on the Bulls, which I've just checked. He is. I think Alfonso McKinney was actually a good pickup. He'll add some forward depth for them. He's been playing 13.5 minutes per game. He was actually really solid on the Cavs about a year ago and was pretty underrated. So I think that was a good signing. And hey, Tony Bradley's kind of been playing his role off the bench and has had to even start some games now due to a ton of the injuries that the Chicago Bulls have suffered. So again, there are other players out there who I think the Bulls should definitely target. Like, I'm sure they will get someone on this trade deadline, because there's so many of these, like, you know, players right now going around that could potentially be traded, where you just think, surely they would, they got to be coming out with someone. I don't know who they're going to get, though, because it does seem like Dennis Schroder is the obvious one that is really floating around. And I just don't think that Dennis Schroder would be the guy. I do not actually really think the Chicago Bulls should actually, you know, kind of do a trade like this for, is actually go to Oklahoma and see what's going on with Derek Favors, because Derek Favors has really fallen out of the rotation for Oklahoma this year. He started 14 games, but he's only getting 16 minutes a game on 5 points and 5 rebounds. which are pretty decent numbers for a dude only getting 16 minutes. And he has the ability to play the 4 and the 5. Not the best defender out there. But I actually think if the Oklahoma City Thunder were willing to do a buyout, I would go straight for him, because they only got him in to get that first round pick or something like that. They don't care if they let him go on a buyout. And I think, yeah, the Chicago Bulls, why not add a big man to your team who can play the backup 5 and backup 4 and can still, you know, run the floor? Because again, he's not too slow, I wouldn't say, not as slow as some players, and he's still 6'9", so he kind of fits that small ball lineup. He's a guy who I think they should maybe go for. But again, when we look at this from the Boston Celtics side, they are 28 and 25, and they've had their injuries here and there. And look, I do think they need to go out and get a playmaking point guard. I just don't think that you necessarily need to get rid of Dennis Schroder as much as what they are kind of saying that they need to do. Again, if I was them, I would keep Dennis Schroder. I would make a lot of changes to the team though. In fact, I would look to trade Marcus Smart. I know that is an extremely controversial opinion, because half the Boston fans are like, Smart's been on the team too long, he's not getting any better, he's got a lot of value right now, and he doesn't really suit the team. Plus, they could get maybe a playmaker or something like that out of him. While the other half are saying he's too good of a defender, too important to the chemistry, this and that to get rid of. In my opinion, I think the Boston Celtics really need to just kind of change it up. And by this, you know, in free agency, I would decline Al Horford's $27 million team option or whatever he's got. I would trade Marcus Smart, also filling $16 million, or trading him to match contracts and bring in a playmaker. I'd let Josh Richardson walk, who's on $10 million. I'd let Enes Freedom-Canner walk, who I think they brought him back on the minimum, or maybe he's on a couple million, I don't know. But again, I'd let all these players walk, and you could realistically be looking at like $25 million or something like that, plus in free agency they could use, where they could sign a bunch of role players, including a playmaker, or maybe trade for a dude like Malcolm Brogdon down the line. I just think that's what they should do. I don't think you need to necessarily trade Dennis Schroder. I know some people say they've got too many shot creators on this team, but honestly, I think if you keep Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown as your two main shot creators in the starting lineup, bring in a playmaker who can space the floor like a Malcolm Brogdon, who doesn't really need to shot create, and then you can have a shot creator off the bench in Dennis Schroder, who can come in and, you know, help out extra, especially when players like Jaylen Brown get injured. I think that just makes the most amount of sense. So, again, I think this Celtics team needs a desperate restructure, and I wouldn't be surprised if Marcus Smart were to get traded eventually. Maybe not on the trade deadline, but maybe next season. And again, I just don't think they necessarily need to trade Dennis Schroder. Plus, he doesn't even seem to mind it on the Boston Celtics, so he actually might come back in free agency anyway. And plus, I would rather risk the chance of bringing him back in free agency than trading him for a second round pick that you might not even use, and a dude like Trey Brown. So it's just really, it's a no point trade in my opinion. So I just think the Boston Celtics should keep what they have, and, you know, by the deadline, or I think next off season, maybe blow some of it up by trading away players like Smart and declining Horford's team option, etc. Doing this and that, and I think you can make the Boston Celtics a very good team again. But of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for all the latest kind of NBA content, this and that. Don't forget to comment in the comment section down below. Do you guys think this trade will go down? Do you guys think that Dennis Schroder would be good on the Bulls? Do you guys think that the Boston Celtics should trade him? Of course, definitely let me know down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my IRL/vlogging channel, my podcast channel, and my gaming channel. All of them are also down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.